everyone, and welcome back. So, if I didn't meet you before, I'm David Blair. I'm the moderator for this evening. And before we continue, I just want to remind everyone that you can ask questions in the chat at any time, or you can ask in the Ask the ShinyConf speakers channel in the Shiny for All workspace on Slack. Now, for our next talk, I'm very pleased to introduce Jakob. And one of the great things about being a moderator is you get to learn all these interesting things about the speakers. And Jakob is a staff engineer at Appsilon, and he's been working with Shiny for over 10 years. He's one of the original creators of the Rhino framework, and also has a background in paleontology, which is quite different. And today he's going to be talking to us about some of the exciting new capabilities in Rhino and the Rhinoverse, among other things. So without further ado, over to you, Jakob.
Thank you, David. Hello again. Yeah, it has been a long day, but I hope you still have some energy to join me on a journey through what new happened in Appsilon open source during the last year. I hope you will find something useful for you, something that will help you build great Shiny applications. So the title of the presentation is the Rhinoverse journey, but what exactly is Rhinoverse? Rhinoverse is a family of R packages built around Rhino. And Rhino is an R Shiny framework that we have created at Appsilon using all the insights that we had in our projects. And it contains a template for our Shiny application, and is accompanied by a set of development tools like things to handle styling, handling your JavaScript, handling end-to-end tests, and other Rhinoverse packages aimed at helping you in various other areas like UI, routing, internationalization. Rhino was announced 2 years ago, and a year later we showed you the Rhinoverse. So now let's dive into what happened since then. And the first brand new thing that I want to show is actually not about the code. You probably are familiar with our logos. We gathered a pretty large zoo over the last 8 years of building open source. And here I want to present you brand new beautiful animals. We felt that this is the right moment to update the designs, and Hubert, our graphic designer, did an amazing job. I hope you like it. I personally love them. Before this talk, Hubert asked me to, take 10 minutes on this slide just to let you enjoy those beautiful designs. So I hope you like it. But there is more. If you want to also have a hex created by Hubert, now there is a chance. Because we decided to host a contest here at Appsilon for basically our packages. So if you are an author of an art package and you want a new logo, maybe you need a redesign of your logo, check this link. You'll find all the details there. Don't worry, we will also post this on our social media. And based on the package relevance, innovation, quality, and potential, we will choose the winners, and they will get the opportunity to work with Hubert and create great new hexes. Okay, back to the Rhinoverse. So if you want to jump in and explore, probably the best place to start is our page, rhinoverse.dev, where you can find links to documentation, GitHub repositories, and them applications. But this talk is about the changes in Rhinoverse. So let's now check what new things happened during the last year. So you have already seen the new logos. But of course, there is more. We released several new versions of packages like Shiny Router, Data Validator, Shiny Semantic, and of course Rhino. And as the last or almost last part of the presentation, I will show you what happened in Rhino. But before that, I wanted to show you our new animals, 3 new packages that arrived last year, Shiny Telemetry, Shiny Empty State, and Reactable Extras. And let's start with the first one, Shiny Telemetry. Okay, so yeah, when building a Shiny dashboard, we always felt that it's extremely important to understand how users interact with the application. And this knowledge can help you to verify the initial assumptions, to adjust the application, to find ways to make it more useful. And we always wanted to have a tool that would help us to gather such data, but we didn't have it. We started building it some time ago in 2019. And back then we achieved only a small proof of concept. But last year, fortunately, we got back to this idea and to this code, and when we made it work, we released it on CRAN as Shiny telemetry. And this package allows you to track events that happen in your application and save this information in various search solutions. Like you can use a simple text file. You can use something quite sophisticated with a Postgres and timescale that will allow you to see the app statistics live. But the initial setup is super simple. With just few lines of code, you can start tracking things like session start and end or the input changes. But of course, you can extend that and add some custom events, like you want to learn how often a user generates some particular visualization or report. Okay, so next package, Shiny empty state. This time the story is quite different. And here one of our developers, Ryszard Szymański, you might have seen his presentation today about Shiny TikTok. So Ryszard got an idea that maybe it could be helpful to provide a solution for empty states. So situations where application is not able to show you something that it should, like a table or chart, because there is no data or is still waiting for something. So we came up with a small proof of concept that quickly became another Rhinoverse package on CRAN. And this is Shiny empty state. It allows you to define a component or use a default one to take the place of a table or a chart. And it will improve the UX by your UX by providing, for example, clear information about the status, about what actions should be taken to move on. So it's a small thing, but it will really make your application easier to use and increase the adoption. And the third package, React Table Extras. The story behind this one is again related to our projects. Just from the name, you already know that React Table, that this is basically an extension to React Table package. And this is kind of a basic solution we use at Appsilon. Like React Table is a super powerful and super flexible tool, but sometimes we found ourselves in a situations where something was missing. And this time, Marcin Dubel gathered a list of things that we did, our custom solutions to achieve those goals that we have. And from that, we decided to create a kind of a generic solution that will prevent us from reinventing the wheel every time. And here it is. Rectable Extras is package that includes several new things like those custom inputs. So you can now add to your table drop downs, calendars, text inputs. They will work exactly the same as basic Shiny. So you can access the input value, you can use them to trigger events. Everything works the same. We can also use Rectable Extras to add some tooltips or to use server-side processing. So instead of pushing a huge data set to the browser, you can just push the small chunk that is required for a single page. As a result, of course, your table will be really, really fast. Okay, so now it's time for the almost last part. So Rhino. And as you saw, Rhino had a few new releases during the last year, and let me guide you through what have changed. And I will start with updates related to JavaScript. And you might be familiar with one of our other packages, Shiny React, which allows you to build our packages that wrap React libraries and simply use them in Shiny. So for example, you can use Fluent UI thanks to Shiny Fluent. You can use Blueprint.js thanks to Shiny Blueprint. And now Rhino allows you to avoid this step of building package, because now in Rhino you can define your components directly in the code, which simply makes things much easier. And second thing that happened related to JavaScript is a set of improvements in Node.js. We upgraded dependencies. So every tool like Webpack Stylint should work more smoothly. But the thing that probably will affect you the most is the change in Cypress. We migrated from version 7 to 13, so there are plenty of new things that you can use in your end-to-end tests. Also, a small but really cool thing is that Rhino now supports NPM alternatives. So there are great and super fast replacements for the basic Node.js setup like ban or PNPM, and Rhino now simply is ready for them. Okay, but let's move back to R. And Rhino setup for dependencies is based on RNF, so a package that allows you to pinpoint the exact version of each package that you want to use in your application and to add reproducibility to that. But in Rhino, there is a second part of that with dependencies.r file, where you store your library calls. And of course, it was super inconvenient to manually add those library calls in this file. Now we have two small functions, package install, package remove, and they simply do that for you. And another convenient extension to RStudio is Addins for RStudio. So if you use this IDE, you can simply open the dropdown and see a list of functions that will trigger list of addins that will trigger all the development functions that we have. So unit tests, linters, bundlers for JavaScript and Sass. Okay, moving on. Another improvement that landed in Rhino quite recently is the support for Shiny autoreload. So Rhino uses box package to achieve explicit importing in of packages and scripts, but this caused some problems with autoreload. And finally, now this works as it should. So you can use it to speed up your development. If you set this option, you'll be able to see live changes happening to the application as you modify the code and save the R files. And the last thing, also related to box, because we decided that it would be good to make the import statements more readable and consistent. And we added simply a set of linters. So now they will check if there are trailing commas. They will suggest you avoiding the 3 dots. And we also plan to extract this particular functionality into a separate package. So if you use box in other situations than Rhino, you might sorry, this solution might be helpful for you. Okay, so those were the major changes that happened during the last year, but we are not stopping. And here are some new things that are on our plate, and I want to share them with you. So the nearest thing that is coming is the new release of Shiny Telemetry. This will most probably happen in May, and it will bring a number of improvements like possibility to track anonymous users. You have seen add-ins for RStudio, but we are also thinking about users of Visual Studio Code. So we plan to prepare an extension that will help them work with Rhino. Soon, we will also start to release cheat sheets for Rhinoverse. First ones are already in progress, and soon you will be able to learn on how to work with our packages from a convenient one-pagers. And lastly, we are also working on expanding and improving the Rhinoverse page, so it will give you easy access to all the documentation, change logs, blog posts, and demos. And there is one more thing. I'm allowed just to show you this sneaky preview without any details, but stay tuned. We will reveal more details soon. And yeah, the last thing, you can also get involved in building the Rhinoverse. You can post GitHub issues to point bugs or suggest improvements. You can also use GitHub discussions to engage with the community. We appreciate all such actions, and I want to encourage you to do it. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for staying with me. I hope I gave you a reason to start exploring the Rhinoverse, and thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Jakob. That was great. I'm curious, can we use any of the Rhinoverse packages in Shiny for Python as well as RShiny?
No, they're all R packages, although we have a version of Shiny Semantic for Python. We created it quite a long time ago, and to be honest, it's not updated to the current state of Shiny for Python. But again, I'm not allowed to say anything more, but the slide that I have shown you, one of the last ones with this sneaky preview, it also was presented on a Shiny for Python workshop. So yeah.
Great. Now we have currently there's two testing sort of frameworks that are supported by Rhino, Cypress for E2E, and then TestStat for unit testing. But is there any expectation of supporting maybe things like Shiny Test for more visual sort of testing, recording?
The Shiny Test 2 is already supported by Rhino.
Okay.
There is a guide on how to do that. It's super simple. Basically, you can do anything you do for a regular Shiny application, and it will work.
Okay, great. Now, you talked about the addition of a new VS Code extension. Now, what I can imagine that if you're adding a VS Code extension, it would allow you to add sort of certain pieces of functionality that you wouldn't have been able to before in RStudio because you don't have that control of the IDE. Is there anything that sort of working within VS Code you could sort of do to improve the development experience in Rhino that you wouldn't have been able to do in RStudio?
Well, VS Code is simply different. So the things that we can already achieve by using add-ins in RStudio, you soon should be able to achieve by using the new extension. Also, there is a great potential for supporting things like autocomplete, but this is kind of a deeper topic, so I don't want to promise anything right now. We will start with mirroring the functionalities that we have in RStudio in kind of a different way.
Sounds good. Maybe one last question. You talked about the addition of React components. Is there any limitations with using the React components in on our Shiny app as opposed to just using React components as you normally would?
Well, in general, there might be some limitations due to the fact that this relies on Shiny React. So this is a stack version of React. So not everything new is going to work, or at least without some tuning. And also, this is still a Shiny application, so it's impossible to achieve this full division between the front end and back end, you will still need to have this running our session in the back end.
Okay, great. Well, we've come to the end of our time, so thank you very much for your time today, Jakub.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.